Before I say anything else, comments are welcome, but to the haters, don't even bother. Your comments will be deleted and you will be blocked. I already deal with haters enough on my political videos. And yes, most of my political videos are political in nature, so this really isn't my typical video. So it's very unlikely that I'll make any more videos on this subject. That's out of the way, let's get to business. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Hell has frozen over. Kittens are having puppies and pigs are flying. I'm a fan of My Little Pony. More specifically, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Yes, you heard right, and no, this isn't a joke. And no, I'm not the only adult male into the show. Of course, more on that later, though. I first found out about the current incarnation called Friendship is Magic from a friend of mine. He said it was a good show, that I should check it out. Now, this same friend introduced me to some great stuff like Avatar The Last Airbender, the Lobo comic series, and the 2003 version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. So he never really steered me wrong, but I was still extremely skeptical. When he first brought it up, I wasn't sure if he was joking or being serious. I thought to myself, have I just lost my mind? Has he lost his mind? Are we really having conversations over My Little Pony, the same My Little Pony, which was a series of glorified tacky toy commercials? My friend told me that Friendship is Magic was a major reboot of the franchise and was not the same as its previous incarnations. Of course, I was still skeptical, but was intrigued when he brought up the villain Discord, who was the Lord of Chaos, and said he wanted me to at least watch the Discord two-parter because he wanted my opinion on it. I had to find out if Discord really was as good as he said, so I bit the bullet and watched it. Since it wasn't the first episode, or even the first season, I kind of cheated a bit by seeing that first, but when I finished watching that, I wasn't a full-fledged fan of the show yet, but I was definitely, without a doubt, a huge fan of Discord, and still am. After some procrastinating on my part, I eventually got around to watching the other episodes. Sometime around episode 4 or 5, I became hooked, and what seemed like a blink of an eye, but was no more than a week or two, watched all of season 1 and 2. And then I started reading fan fiction, looking at fan art, and then I joined a forum. I haven't gotten any toys because toy collecting is not really my thing, and I haven't really gotten any shirts because it's very difficult to find certain shirts in my size. Though a Discord shirt would be pretty sweet, though. At first I thought I'm a fan, but not a brony, not because I hated bronies, but in part because I still had the subconscious voice in my head saying, "What the hell are you doing watching this?" But with how much I've been thinking about it, it cannot be denied anymore. Yep, I'm a brony. Now I've had to stop myself in some conversations from saying every pony instead of everybody, especially when I've watched a lot of episodes that day. I mean, can you imagine if I did that in my YouTube videos? Come on, every pony. We all need to wake up. Both parties are bought and paid for by the same people. No pony should vote for someone because they are the lesser evil. Any pony that says we're wasting our votes doesn't know what they're talking about. I mean, a brony, for those of you who don't know, is simply a teenager or adult, either male or female, who's a fan of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Though some female bronies prefer the term Pegasister, it really doesn't matter to me. But seriously, there are millions of us. There are even brony conventions. John Delancey, who's the voice actor for Discord's even making a documentary about it. Now, bronies have many different reasons for being into the show, so I'm strictly speaking for myself. Here's the reason why I'm into it. Interesting and engaging characters. My favorite of the main six, as they're called, is Applejack. She, like me, tends to be extremely blunt and at times be set in her ways and a bit stubborn. But there's at least one thing each of them has that I can relate to. It has positive messages that are applicable to both children and adults. Every episode has some kind of lesson or moral to it, and while this is fairly common for children's shows, many children's shows have a habit of becoming preachy or having lessons seem a bit tacked on, or the messages really only apply to their target audience. But MLP does not suffer from this at all, and putting your hoof down, Fluttershy gets sick of being pushed around and takes classes on how to become more assertive, but she takes the lessons too far, but realizes at the end of the episode she does not need to stoop to their level to stand up for herself. Ponyville Confidential, Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo, under the pseudonym Gabby Gums, put embarrassing secrets and gossip about everyone in Ponyville in the school newspaper, and everyone thinks it's funny until they're the targets of it. And it gets so out of hand that they become alienated even from their closest friends and family. And they learn their lesson. They write one last article as Gabby comes, apologizing for their rumor mongering, and are able to repair their broken relationships. In bridal gossip, the entire town is afraid of this one zebra named Zecora simply because she's a zebra, and it's there's even all these urban legends about how she gobbles up ponies and soups and other ridiculous sort of stories. And when it's later revealed toward the end that she's completely harmless and even helps the main six in later episodes. Excellent animation quality and style. I mean, yeah, there's pink and bright colors like there is in all girls shows, but there's not so much of it that becomes jarring. They mix things up quite a bit more, so to speak, when it comes to colors and backgrounds. And there's heavy anime influence in the style, and the characters look very good. It has a great sense of humor. There are some episodes that are hilarious. Ponyville Confidential is an excellent satire of the kind of sleazy yellow journalism gossip mongering that far too often passes for news these days. Bridal Gossip has to be one of the best parodies of the sheer irrationality and stupidity of racism I've ever seen. Mystery on the Friendship Express, Pinkie Pie jumped to some rather outlandish conclusions with very little evidence as to who took a bite of this cake that was supposed to be in the dessert competition. She even accuses one of the suspects of being a James Bond-style spy. In Hearts and Hooves Day, which is basically the Valentine's Day episode, Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo try to set up Big Macintosh with their teacher, Miss Cheerily, by giving them a love potion, which they later find out is actually a love poison. Overall, it's just a really good show that happens to star cartoon ponies. It really is a testament as to how much can be accomplished if you actually put effort into something. I mean, you can make basically almost anything really appealing. So that must mean I'm gay, a basement-dwelling loser living in his parents' basement, pedophile, or must have an uncontrollable urge to screw ponies, right? No. No, 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 not exactly. I'm not gay, but I have nothing against anyone who is. And I found a lot of times that people who are the most critical of gays are often closeted gays themselves. I bought a house with my father, may he rest in peace, after he lost his, and my mother moved in with us for essentially the same reason, and for the last few years I've had to take care of my sick father, who was a dialysis patient, and I'm into women, as in adult human women. Seriously, though, haters, these arguments are the best you can come up with. So now you see why I don't want to waste my time with you guys. Now nobody ever makes these arguments when women get into shows geared toward boys, but God forbid it's the other way around. Now, but to those of you who haven't seen the show yet and maybe a bit skeptical, give it a try. I mean, think about it. What's the worst that can happen? You like the show? Great. You don't? Well, then you can at least say you gave it a chance.